It was scorching, it was hot. It was the month of April after all, and we were based near Pench National Park's most famous gate called the Turia Gate. In the previous episode, we covered how we reached here from Bengaluru. If you have not watched that video, then for the sake of continuity, please watch it. We are leaving a link in the description. In this episode, we will cover the safari sighting details and that bit of information we always tend to give about flora, fauna, and the ecosystem. So, are you ready? Let's start then. Located just 2 to 3 hours or around 100 kilometers north of Nagpur airport, right at the heart of central Indian landscape, bang in the middle of where Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh shares their border, there lies a magical land, untamed, wild and untouched. These forests were inspiration for many artists, including wildlife photographers and writers, the most prominent of them being the renowned writer Rudyard Kipling, who was inspired by these landscapes and wrote the famous book called The Jungle Book, which was adapted into movies and animation films. I mean, would there be anyone at all from our generation who are not familiar with the characters of Mowgli, Baloo, Bagheera, and Sher Khan and several other members of the wolf pack? There may be often a debate, and often Kanha National Park along with Pench are cited as the inspiration behind the Jungle Book. However, we also should realize that during the times of Rudyard Kipling and hundreds of years before that, Pench and Kanha was a single contiguous forest. Even today, if you see in Google Maps, you will notice how the forest patches of Nagpur and Balaghat connect the two national parks of Kanha and Pench. There is also another reason though, why Pench is more closely associated with Rudyard Kipling's book. Several years ago, indeed one child was found near the Sioni village, which is more closer to Pench National Park. That child was raised by the wolves, and this is a real story. It's not a fiction. This child was rescued and did grow up to adulthood, but he died at the age of around 25 due to health issues. This is a true incident. Going for our first safari, Teliya zone, buffer zone. Yeah, all geared up with the camera and everything. देखिए एखान देखाओ वाह ईशान मस्त लागছে देखिए I think Ishan has the best outfit. ये बफर एरिया है ना? जी सर, बफर एरिया. मेरा नाम नरेश है. अच्छा, कुछ बताइए इस जोन के बारे में.
ये सर तेलिया खवासा है.
अच्छा,
ये बफर जोन है.
अच्छा,
यहाँ पर सब ये जो तेलिया गेट जो नाम पड़ा ना इसका सर, ये जो टीकुड है सागवान.
अच्छा,
तो ये इससे पहले जो कटाई हो रही भारत डिपार्टमेंट द्वारा हल्का सा ऑयल निकल रहा था, तेल टाइप का.
अच्छा तेल, ये अच्छा,
इसलिए तेलिया नाम पड़ा. ये विलेज है यहाँ पर पास में, यहाँ से गेट से लगभग 1.5 किलोमीटर से दूर है. इसलिए उसका नाम ये तेलिया रखा. इसी से तेलिया गेट नाम दिया गया है.
अच्छा,
साबुन से कई जगह में ऐसे साबुन की जो ट्रेन है उससे ऑयल नहीं निकलता. इसी एरिया में ऐसे साबुन है जिससे ऑयल निकलता है ना, जो फर्नीचर में उपयोग किया जाता है इसको. तो जब फिनिशिंग होती है ना, काफ़ी शाइनिंग आती है वो टीक में. पॉलिश जैसा जो में चमकता है. हाँ, काफ़ी शाइनिंग आ जाती है. तो इसी एरिया में जो है ना, पेंच के एरिया में यही वो टीक मिलेगा.
बाकी वो टूरिया उस जोन में नहीं रहता है उतना.
इसमें पेंच में मिलेगा सर काफ़ी जगह में.
अच्छा, लेकिन यहाँ पे इस एरिया में ज़्यादा है.
जी सर.
Neelgais were abundant here. We saw some small herds of them, several of such small herds of them. Often female with calves would stay together, and at a distance there would be a distinct blue or neele rang wala male bulls. That's how they got their name, right? The Neelgais, right? Yani neele rang ke bulls. Neelgais are not deer species, by the way, though they look very similar, right, to deer. In fact, they are antelope. They belong to the antelope family. In fact, they are the largest antelope in Asia. Antelopes differ from the deer family in two aspects: their body frame or the profile, and the way their hooves are structured. They also differ, by their horns. The horns of the deer, except for some primitive deer species like the moose-tax and the mouse deer, the horns generally form branches. But antelopes, especially males, have just a pair of pointed horns. That's it. Antelope horns are permanent and for life. However, deer antlers are seasonal and they get shed off in during certain season.
किनारे बढ़ रहे भैया
In terms of big cats, even though we got very close to one, following loud and strong alarm calls from spotted deer, this evening safari at Teliya Gate was dry, but nonetheless it was intriguing, especially because of the numerous Neelgai sightings, because we do not happen to see Neelgai in every forest in the same way as we do for spotted deer, right? Turia Gate morning safari.
जाती है और आगे जाके डिवाइड होती है, तो 3 रूटें हैं, 1 नंबर, 2 नंबर और 3 नंबर। तो हम रूट नंबर 2 में हैं और पेंच का जो जंगल है वो ड्राई डिसीडियस फॉरेस्ट, वहाँ का डोमिनेंट ट्री जो है वो ट्री है, साल और चंदन के पेड़ नहीं है, बाकी सभी वैरायटी में। आप लोग कहाँ से? लोग आगे से आए।
टूरिया गेट ही सबसे फेमस है, ऐसा सुने हैं।
गाड़ियाँ भी अलाउ करते हैं, 37 है यहाँ पे, लेकिन हमेशा पेश वगैरह और पसंद आता है। इंडिया गेट 4 एरिया में 3 गेट है, तुरिया, कर्मागिरी और नमपुर, लेकिन ये हाईवे से सबसे करीब का गेट है और वहाँ पर रहने की व्यवस्था की
Our first major breakthrough in terms of avian finding was that of a rare owl species called the mottled wood owl. Apparently, these owls, इनके जो hooting calls होते हैं, they are often associated with bhutiya things like supernatural settings. Later in the safari, we saw several sightings of the Indian jackal. On one occasion, we saw an entire family of a mother and her 3 cubs, and even the father. Jackals may be a common sighting in these jungles, but watching them is always a pleasure. They are primarily scavengers, but are also very skilled at hunting smaller games like deer cubs, perhaps rats and other small animals or mammals. In an area which locals call as Kala Patthar, we found our first big cat sighting of the trip. We spotted some movement of a familiar pattern some 300 meters away from us, from beside an unremarkable rock formation and from between the branches of the deciduous trees. As elusive we know they are, a leopard peeping out and looking straight at us from above. It did not emerge, but was right there and had been observing us silently for God knows how long. There were no alarm calls, even though there were langur monkeys at a distance. The master of camouflage and silent stalking was spotted only by chance as one of us scanned through the rocky terrain. Leopard sitting on the rock on sunny mornings was a familiar anticipation, which is followed at many places just like a drill when we are there for wildlife watching. Hence our scanning and spotting of the leopard was not just a random act, but more about training our eyes as a result of knowledge of historical data. It was a leopardess in her prime. Pench National Park also has a very significant healthy population of sambar deer. Sambar deer is Asia's largest deer. They are the second largest deer species in the world, with a tie in their average size with the North American elk, and second only to the moose deer, which are found in North America and certain parts of Europe like Poland and Scandinavia. These deer are much larger than the famous Christmas fabled reindeer. Santa Claus and reindeer, that kind of a thing. They are much bigger than reindeer actually, sambar deers. The alarm call from a sambar deer is considered as a more reliable indication of the presence of a tiger. Yes, more reliable, because it's more reliable than that of the spotted deer or the cheetal, as the cheetal would often get alarmed on the sight of even a snake. Later on in the same safari, we were able to be a witness of a rare event that we never witnessed before. We saw a pack of Indian wild dogs, or the dhole, on full hunting mode. They were chasing behind a herd of the cheetal deer. There were many of them. On one occasion, we felt they gave up and started resting near a water body. However, soon we realized maybe that was just a perception they wanted to deliberately plant in the minds of their not so intelligent prey. Dholes are very successful pack hunters, and their success rate is much higher than the big cats. Remember from the stories of Mowgli that these wild canines had a part to play and were depicted as vicious hunters. We had several sightings of the Indian god, but this particular sighting of a mating pair was the most distinct of all, as we were able to closely observe and appreciate the massive size, especially of the male bull. Goats are the largest member of the bovine family or the cattle family. Bole to our cow family, and should not be confused because of their black color. They should not be confused with a buffalo, as buffalo is distinctly a different family.
ये मेन रोड पे है।
Langur and the spotted deer, and also often the sambar deer, herd and group together while feeding. They are allies, just like, after all, the NATO countries, for example. Langurs are fussy fruit eaters and would often drop half-eaten fruits down below, thus offering a feast for the deer. They would also alert each other when they sense a predator. A member of the langur troop is always sat up at a vantage point, observing the surroundings, just on the top of a tree or the top of a rock. And the deer, on the other hand, have a very sharp sense of smell and would often sense predators even if they do not see them. If the predator is on the wrong side of the wind direction, basically the wind can carry the smell, right? So deers can sense pick up such scents, right? So thus the langur's sight and the deer's sense of smell are their defense system, just like missile detecting radars used during warfare. सॉरी, ह्यूमन वर्ल्ड में तो युद्ध का माहौल है, तो ऐसे ही एग्जाम्पल्स आ रहे हैं. गेट खोलने की इंतजार में. Our third safari was that of an evening one at the Turia Gate, and within 5 minutes as the safari began, our vehicle drove nearing a well tree-covered passing stream locally known as a nala. We noticed a chaotic accumulation of safari vehicles. The reason of that chaotic accumulation of vehicles was very obvious. As we made our way into the chaos, right inside the dried up stream, there was basically a jamun tree we could see. And there, underneath the jamun tree, there was a trunk of a dead tree. Well camouflaged as always they managed to be, a very silent leopard was sleeping there or laying there, aligning its body underneath and parallel to the fallen tree trunk. It was so well camouflaged and difficult to see, and the view was blocked. A direct line of view was obstructed, and this is the best basically we could capture. We chose to mutually agree with each other, basically agree with the safari guide and the driver to leave this particular chaos of accumulated safari vehicles competing against each other just to get a glimpse, clearer glimpse of a leopard that doesn't want to be seen. Whether the cat liked it or not, it was getting all the attention it deserved. We approached the photogenic and breathtakingly beautiful landscapes of the banks of the Pench River. It was there we sighted a much less seen species of kingfisher. It's known as the stalk-billed kingfisher.
आलू जोड़ो तो यार आलू जोड़ो गए
Moving on, we reached an open area near a water body and spent considerable time there, anticipating a resident tigress to show up near a water body. So it was our safari driver who actually spotted it. What a sharp eyesight he has got, I must say. Very far away from us, though pretty much obstructed by tree branches, we could clearly see the frame of the leopard. It had climbed a tree and was probably chasing monkeys, and that's why it was up there. Middle of a forest. This was the breakfast point. As usual, I think all MP national parks have this. Middle of the forest, there is a place where there's usually a canteen and stuff like this, where you can stop over, go to take a restroom break, have breakfast, and so on.
अरे यहाँ पे भी आवाज किया है
For safari at Pench National Park. This time not at Turia Gate, but at Khursapar Gate. Khursapar Gate is an access to the core zone area from the Maharashtra side. We are right now headed there. From our resort, the Sterling Padam, which is near the Turia Gate, it's about 16 to 17 kilometers. So try to leave early if you have booked that safari and you're staying in this area. And I also felt it's best to have a vehicle of your own. That also helps, unless you're staying very close to the safari gate. You have booked your safari form. So I have everyone with me, and here we go. We started for the Khursapar Gate now.
सर वो 748 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर में है, जिसमें से कि 57 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर का जो एरिया है सर वो सफारी के लिए अवेलेबल किया गया है, जिसमें से कि 20% में सफारी होती है। 20% में सर 30 से 35 किलोमीटर का एरिया है जिसमें अपन सफारी करने वाले हैं। और अपना खुर्सापार पेंच का जो जंगल है सर वो ड्राई डेंसिनेस फॉरेस्ट के लिए जाना जाता है। वो इसलिए जाना जाता है क्योंकि खुर्सापार पेंच का जो जंगल है वो हिली एरिया में और अप डाउन एरिया में, इस वजह से क्या है ना, समर सीजन में जो पानी का जो वाटर लेवल है मैम वो कम हो जाता है, तो ट्रीज को पानी का वाटर लेवल नहीं मिल पाता। इस वजह से ट्रीज की जो लीव्स है ना वो गिरने लगती है, इस वजह से ड्राई डेंसिनेस फॉरेस्ट बोला जाता है। जैसे आपको अभी पूरा ड्राई दिखाई देता होगा, जैसे मानसून सीजन में बोलो या विंटर सीजन में पूरा डेंस होता है और पूरा ग्रीन दिखाई देता है। और अपने महाराष्ट्र पेज में 51 टाइगर और टाइगर्स है टोटल सर, जिसमें से कि अपने खुर्सापार जोन में जो है सफारी जोन में 20% एरिया में सर 7 टाइगर है जो गोल्ड वाले हैं, जिसमें से कि 3 फीमेल है और 4 मेल है। 4 में जैसे कि डोमिनेट मेल एक भी नहीं है सर, अपने यहाँ पे सब आते जाते रहते हैं।
अच्छा।
सिर्फ 3 फीमेल की टेरिटरी है अपने यहाँ पे, जिसमें से कि बिंदु टाइगरस है, बीटू टाइगरस है और यकमार टाइगरस है मैम, जिसमें से कि तीनों टाइगर्स के कब्ज मिलाकर अभी 6 कब्ज है टोटल। हाँ, जिसमें से कि बीटू टाइगर्स को 4 कब्ज है सर, जिसमें से कि वो सब अलर्ट है अभी, वो 2 से 2.5 ईयर्स के बीच के हो गए अभी।
अच्छा।
हाँ, तो जैसे कि मदर के बराबर दिखते हो। और बिंदु टाइगर्स को 1 कब्ज है, वो फीमेल कब्ज है, जिसमें से कि वो 12 से 13 मंथ का हो गया अभी। और यकमा टाइगर्स का जो 1 कब्ज है सर वो 9 से 10 मंथ का है।
अच्छा।
हाँ,
कैसे है वो लोग, शाही है कि
साई है?
शाही है ना, सब एडल्ट शाही रहते हैं।
बिंदु का जो कब्ज है वो भी साई है, और अभी यकमार का कब्ज है वो भी साई है, और जो बीटू का जो कब्ज है वो गोल्ड है सर, वो नहीं डरते गाड़ियों को।
अच्छा।
हाँ, गोल्ड है वो। चारों कब्ज, जिसमें से कि 2 मेल है बीटू टाइगर्स में से और 2 फीमेल कब्ज है।
अच्छा। मेनली टीक का फॉरेस्ट है ना?
हाँ,
Within 5 minutes of our entry into this zone, we had our first tiger sighting of this trip. It was very sudden and very brief, but in no way less glorious. A female was sat beneath the cool shade of a bamboo thicket just beside a stream. There was only one particular vantage point from where the majestic beast could be seen. right? I must say we were very appreciative of the fact that crowding was avoided and all tourist vehicles had a good empathetical understanding between them, right? पेंच टाइगर रिजर्व, पेंच नेशनल पार्क, महाराष्ट्र साइड 1 घंटा का सफारी हो गया है। टाइगर दिख चुकी है, बस a female tigress sitting resting under a water body as you saw. This is a safari center point. We took a pit stop. यहाँ पर टूरिस्ट गाड़ी से उतर सकते हैं। Look at this place around. ईशान देखिए तो इटा की oh. This is a life-size tiger actually. वहाँ पे पानी मिल जाती है, स्नैक्स, टी। वहाँ पे वॉशरूम्स है। दिस इज अ सफारी सेंटर पॉइंट, जहाँ जो हर जगह इवन एमपी में भी आपने देखा द सेंटर पॉइंट where people can get down the vehicle, take a restroom break. Ishan itai bell. In the middle of the forest, as you can see. From the teak forest emerged a massive male, possibly in its prime. I think it was 8 years old, as our guide explained. He never faced us, but went right past, not running, but walking at a steady pace, as his thick paw silently pressed against the summer-soaked dust and rocks. He headed into a gap between two massive rocks, and just as quickly as he had appeared, he disappeared behind one of these rocks, and thus from our view. As the tiger walked in another direction where we could not follow. This sighting marked the end of our last safari at Pench National Park.